Welcome or welcome back to iGaming. Today we have something special from Survive the Nights. It's been a while. I'm excited. Today we got the 1.19 patch notes. This update is live and it has a whole bunch of stuff with it. Now if you don't know, Survive the Nights have scaled back their update schedule. They were relatively frequent. Now they're a bit more spaced apart, but they are now jam-packed with awesome bits. Very exciting. This one features Horde Avoidance, quality of life and trap improvements. Horde Avoidance is something quite cool, something that the community have wanted for a while. I like the idea because it depends how you want to play the game. If you do want to just do the old survival, build something really cool and not have to worry about the damage and taking on the hordes, then doing something like that is definitely for you. Obviously, if you do want to take on the hordes and go nuts, you can do that. Also, I am thinking of doing a new hardcore 20 series. So basically what that is we go from night 0 to night 20 in hardcore and we do not skip a single horde. If we fail, we die. Potentially. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now let's jump in and check out these patch notes. We've been hard at work improving Survive the Nights. We've added many requested features and improved existing ones, and addressed also some of your concerns. We have a few big plans in the works for 1.20, but for the time being, check out below to see exactly what you can find in today's 1.9 release. Quality of life improvements. We've spent a good deal on this development cycle working on quality of life improvements, small issues, some of which have persisted for some time now and needed addressing. We've started the process of addressing these annoyances, which is absolutely brilliant. Some little buggy, annoying things that don't really affect the gameplay, but they're just a little bit irritating, which they do just polish the game off a little bit and make things just that little bit better, which I like. Now, fortifications and weapon switching. This has been an issue pretty much since we introduced plank fortifications. Approaching a window with a hammer in hand and your fortification options appear. This intended behaviour works fantastic until a zombie appears on the other side of the window. Before this fix, you were stuck in fortification mode. Scrolling the mouse wheel simply rotated your selected fortification and didn't switch weapons as you'd expect it to. In the same situation, you will now scroll your weapon and you can still rotate planks whilst holding shift while scrolling. I like that. That is a much better idea because then obviously you're not stuck. Something now that I have actually really enjoyed in the game and played with a little bit, it's nice to be able to do this because you can make your home a little bit better. I'd like to see sort of ornaments and just random bits that you can actually make your house look cool with. So on Mist, obviously you've got the what is it? Is it a deer? Whatever it is. You've got a deer or a stag head that you can place on the wall and just little bits like that. I think that'd be cool. Maybe making little random placeable bits. So like moving the lamps around and just little things like that would be pretty damn sweet. Now, placement mode has had some optimization and improvements. In the past, you'll have noticed that while in placement mode, items would often clip red, informing the player that they weren't placeable. The system that checks whether or not there's an obstruction of the item is placeable was rather sluggish. The improved system in 1.19 is nearly instant. This one is something that has been in the game for as long as I've played it, and it can be annoying, but it's more funny than anything else. And that is the tree situation. If you've played Survive the Nights, you will know exactly what I'm talking about, and that's flying trees. Which, they were quite funny, not gonna lie. It wasn't that bad of a bug, it was more funny than anything else, which I thought was... it was obviously annoying if you're on a horde night and you're in a rush, but other than that, it was just funny. So now the trees don't fly away, which is good. Yes, we know about trees flying off into space like some kind of UAP looking for the mothership. This issue has been a thorn in our side since the concept. The tree chopping system is one of the oldest in the game, and it was one of the only things to do in our first stress tests. We have spent time patching it up over the years, but the flying logs persisted through all versions of the feature. Andre has now dedicated a bit of development time this cycle, putting the issue to bed, and you should find chopping trees far more pleasing now. There was also a lot of general quality of life improvements. Most of the changes in general quality of life are made due to community feedback. Thank you for the continued support, and it does make us finding and fixing these issues possible. So there's a whole list of fixes and little improvements, which I'll run through very quickly. So get ready, brace yourself. Fix an issue where item would disable for a second after placing it down. Faster animations for opening of locks and hasps placed on door. Fix scenario where drops would fall through interior objects. That was really annoying. Fix guide no longer restarts when joining a new server, provided a sleeping bag has been placed at least once. Fix for slow orange highlight when harvesting items. Harvesting now disables on Zombie Plus animal ragdolls once they've been successfully searched. Ah, brilliant. Movement of items in placement mode now more responsive. Items going red in placement mode now more responsive. Fix for drops being hard to pick up when placed on harvested machines and containers. Allowed for interacting for traps when looking through doorways with a tool equipped. Fixed issue where players couldn't drop or place items when standing in front of an open doorway. Slight increase to interaction distance. Scrolling now switches weapon instead of rotating plank when looking at a window with a tool. Shift scroll can be still used to rotate boards. Allowed logging off near zombies that aren't currently chasing someone. Oh, thank God. Allow logging off near dead zombies. Fix an issue where map would stay open when disconnecting from a server. Increase swimming speed when trying to swim to the surface of the water. And tab is now used as default inventory button with I as a fallback input. And player list moved to P key binding by default. Now, love that, especially the logging off thing, because obviously if you don't know and you are new to the channel, I have 2 small children, so sometimes I do need to jump off very quick. Leaving Survive the Nights unattended, not a good idea. You will die, you will lose everything, don't do it. So I need to be able to log off pretty damn quickly. Obviously when there's zombies around you, you can't do that even if you are in your home and there's one just like outside the door. But now we can. Brilliant. Love it. Next up is the big thing, and that is Horde Avoidance. Very, very excited for this, especially for the newer players, because now you're not forced to do it, and you're not forced to run away in the middle of the night. So this could be a really, really good thing, especially for starters. We'll be reintroducing a much requested feature in 1.19, and that is Horde Avoidance. This time we're doing it properly. We've spent the time to ensure that the feature works as intended and is plainly obvious. There currently is no way to avoid the nightly horde. The flee mechanic that was in pre-1.16 allowed the player to run from the current surrounds after a set number of meters. The horde was cancelled. But in 1.19, players will be able to simply crouch anywhere in a secured structure and skip the horde altogether. This duplicates our original concept in that players are able to hide in corners and not have to worry about the dead coming for them. Once you've received the first notification that a horde is approaching, you can simply crouch and start a countdown. Once the avoidance meter is full, the horde will be skipped. So that's very cool. I love the avoidance meter there. That was awesome. Brilliant feature. So, hordes also fixed a scenario where the horde would start as soon as you joined the server, and added a way to avoid the horde by crouching and hiding inside of a building. Horde starting as soon as you joined the server. It was a bit of a stress, but god damn, it was fun, because it just throws you right in at the deep end, and it normally goes bad and you're fucked. But it was fun nonetheless. So, next up we've got container and vehicle animations. This is something very, very cool. I'm glad that they've added this now, because it just makes the game feel much better. It makes everything just look smoother, and it's a really cool feature. And that is basically opening and closing doors. Oh, it's awesome. We spent some time adding a much requested feature. Animated kitchen containers and vehicle doors. This small detail really does add a good deal to the ambience. We plan on making more of these small design and animation improvements moving forwards. Next up is trap improvements. We made tweaks and improvements to the current traps in game. This in part preparation for new traps coming shortly. Oh, very nice, very nice. They have said at the top there that 1.20 has got some spicy stuff in it, so we could be seeing some new traps in 1.2. Very excited. I would love to see some new buildings and some new POIs to explore, but new traps, nice. I like that. We've increased damage on some traps, improved AI particles when affected by traps, and made sure traps are more visible and actually destroy when activated. Along with these changes, Trap UI has been improved, removing some of the confusion around the current system. Traps are something that we will be adding much more to before leaving early access. We have made quite a few improvements to them in the 1.9 build. So here we have another little list all about traps, which, good. Traps are definitely one of the most fun things in the game. You can do loads of them. You can even build a base with just the traps. I've done loads of little challenges on Hardcore Horde Night 20 where we play around with just the traps and see what we can survive with, and it does work out as a hell of a load of fun. Now, the shotgun trap now activates on a shell being added rather than a separate input. Increased damage from nail bomb traps, and a nail bomb trap is now enabled by default when placing it. Firecracker trap is now enabled by default when placing it. Firecracker trap wire length increased. That's a mouthful. Try saying that in a row. Firecracker trap now has firecracker in the crafting recipe instead of as a required item. Firecracker trap now gets destroyed when triggered. Fixed fire trap not doing damage after enabling/disabling it. Improved and optimized particles when zombies are on fire. Fixed lingering particles when a zombie on fire dies. Made nail bomb trap wire more visible. Made firecracker bomb trap wire more visible. And made the air horn trap wire more visible. Next up, we have UI improvements. I like the UI improvements. They are making this UI, update by update, it is getting much better. Now, we've continued to improve our UI system and will continue to do so moving forward. We're adapting a cleaner, more modern look, and the latest build contains new UI elements, improved current systems like fortification UI, added UI elements that previously hadn't had any. A new UI element is the current/next weapon wheel in the bottom right corner of the screen. The system allows the player to see what item will be in hand next should they scroll in either direction. And I like it. It looks pretty damn cool. So there's another bunch here of little fixes for the UI. They've removed the E key functionality for various interactions to save confusion when trying to interact. Fixed controls for driving cinema not working after new interaction update. Light improvements to Horde UI to indicate that Hordes can be skipped again, and ammo type now shown when looking at gun drops. I like. Fixed some UI being blocked when hovering over plus and minus buttons when interacting with them, and fixed issues where fortification UI is hard to read with the flashlight enabled. Reworked the equipped weapon UI and added a system for showing UI for next and previous weapon when scrolling. Tweaks to player vitals UI so they are bigger and easier to read, and current nail and screw amount is now shown on boards when fortifying. Added colour and animation indicators when player doesn't have items/fixing and fortifying. Weapon improvements. Gun is now only used as a melee weapon automatically when the gun is out of ammo. Ah, brilliant. It was such a cool feature, but it didn't stay cool for very long. In the end, it started to become a little bit of a hindrance because you're obviously fighting. Every now and then, you do need to get up close and personal and kick some zombies in the balls. But you want to choose when to kick them in the balls, when it was doing it automatically, which was a little bit of a ball ache. But not anymore. Very nice. Added input for using gun as a melee weapon. Oh, wicked. Moved the flashlight input to X to allow for the melee input, and increased aiming down sight speed. Removed initial delay from weapon switching to make it more responsive, and slight increase to weapon equip animations. Nice. Now for performance. They've improved lag on the server caused by having many items near a player, and improved rain particle performance. And for graphics, they've improved the field of view whilst running and anti-aliasing, or however you say that word. And finally, for animations, they've added animations to vehicle doors and vehicle hood when accessing engine, and the player now has to be outside of the car to access it. No! How dare they! Fixed the help UI for enabling siren and disabling open engine UI whilst in vehicle. Damn! That's a shame. That was... I know it's definitely like 100% cheating, because obviously you can just sit in the car and do whatever you want with it whilst you're in it, and zombies, it's a little bit harder for them to get to you, and you can just drive off and do whatever you want, but obviously not anymore. I used to just switch seats, so if I got stuck by zombies, you just get in a car and switch seats, and then they hit one side, the other, and just keep switching, or you just switch to the other side and run off, which that does work. It's quite fun to do too. But that is it for today's patch notes. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, let me know in the comments. If you are looking forward to Survive the Nights 1.9, let me know also. What would you like to see from the game in 1.2? I am definitely going to start something up. So a Hardcore Horde series. When we start it, I'm not too sure. I don't actually have a date in mind as of yet. But if you'd like to see it very soon, let me know in the comments. I mean, to be honest, we could finish up State of Decay and swap it out for that. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. For now, though, we are going to wrap it up. A massive thank you to A to Z Interactive for bringing us an awesome update so soon. The last one wasn't actually that long ago. It was only, what, 2 months ago, I think? So, that's good. I like. So, thank you to those guys. They work hard. The game is brilliant, and it's getting better with each update. Thank you to all of you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Drop a like in the video. If you do want to support us a little bit further, consider checking out the members. All my links are down below, as well as Survive the Night's links. I've been YG, been awesome. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.